Welcome to Content Chaos with George and Call, a weekly podcast diving straight into meaningful conversations about navigating modern life. Using their weekly review framework, they explore personal growth, professional insights, and cultural observations. No fluff, just authentic dialogue that transforms chaos into clarity.
Hello.
Hello, welcome to episode 37.
Thanks for keeping track of that. And thanks for doing this now because I have to wait until 5:30 for my Claude tokens to refresh. Those sons of bitches. I paid $215 for an annual and they are not giving me what I want. And they're like, "Oh, you can upgrade again." I'm like, I am not putting my credit card in for more. I'm not doing it. I'm pissed.
Yeah. That's actually something I'm going to talk about later.
Okay.
Not that directly, but it's just funny that you bring that up.
Yes. Yeah, it's the mercenaries they're like, please show us the money. So the first question we always start with on Content Chaos is, what went well for you over the past week?
Well, over the past week, there are a few things that I think really kind of came together. One, just to close the loop on something I said could have been better last week. We made it to the soccer game.
Yes, we did.
Our youngest scored a goal. She's got a streak going. Once again, she was the only goal scored by her team. And what we couldn't see, because we were right at like half court, but because of the distance, I didn't know this until last night, that she kicked the ball right through the goalie's legs. Like, I had no idea. Like, that's pretty badass.
And what is it called again? What'd she call it? A meg.
A meg? Yeah, I megged the goalie. And I'm like, what is that like? I don't know. I can't even imagine how that.
It's the lexicon of the youth these days.
Yeah. So there's that. Prior to that, I had the opportunity to visit Lumon Industries. So the Severance was a show that we really loved. And one of the companies in my space has their headquarters in the building that was used to be Lumon Industries, the headquarter building, the ominous, brutal looking, corporate, cold building. And I was able to go in, and while, obviously a lot of the floors that they shoot, those are sets that they use. But I was in the basement of the building. I did have to go down a couple stories to get to where this event was held. So in my mind, I was on the severed floor. And
my friends wanted to know if you had to take the elevator.
I did not.
Okay.
Maybe there's one that goes down. I don't know. There was an elevator that goes up, like from on the inside. So it's that big cavernous, inside. It was just like the show, except there was like a wellness fair going on. And there was in that cavernous thing, they had built a basketball court with like a netting around it. It was like a mall all around the outside. It was you can get your lunch, you can have dinner after work. There's a dry cleaner, there's a bank, there's all that stuff. So there are many companies that are in that building. It's not just this one, but so it was that kind of environment. And so that was pretty cool. But on the work front, this was a good week where I had, my column was hitting an HR executive. I had done a piece on the site. I really feel like this week I felt like, okay, I really found my voice. It's been building for like the last 8 years as I've been shifting the business in some ways, and between finding the voice, and then I've also found my pace. So like I'm having a conversation with the market that nobody else is having. And I hear that from a lot of people now. The perspective is very different, and one that people feel they need. Now with AI, my pace is different. Like I feel like I'm living the, being lean, and it's hard for people to keep up because I've got, momentum. And now I'm really focused on leveraging that to convert even more from a business perspective. So that's all good. I feel like this week was just a really good week for all of that. As an entrepreneur, maybe this week won't be, but it's kind of how it goes. But right now it feels good. So how about you?
One question that you didn't wanted to ask you is, were there goats at Lumen Industries?
There were not goats. Not
No
that I
goats.
saw anyhow. They do hide them. They're not easy to
Yes.
find, so they weren't
Yes.
visible to me.
Yes. Yeah, so what went well for me this week was we kicked off Mental Health Awareness Month with a community event in Summit in the little park in the Summit Green. Little known fact, a very famous person who starred in the new film The Devil Wears Prada 2 is from Summit. Meryl Streep. She is
Mhm.
from Summit, New Jersey. Yeah, so it was a nice little event, and I got recognized because it was my idea to have this concept of paint the town green. And for the people who don't know what we're talking about, for Mental Health Awareness Month, I work with the borough council in town, and my background in media and entertainment and experiential marketing, we would promote television shows and come up with ideas to get people talking about and get attention. So it's always trying to make this idea visible that people in real life are going to engage with it. So I was like, oh, why don't we do paint the town green, and we'll paint all the stores and the windows and put green stuff in it, because green is the official color of mental health awareness, as you can see by my nails. And yeah, so we started in our town. It now is in 3 different counties, 14 towns. And Mikey Sherrill herself, the governor of New Jersey, sent a representative to read a proclamation about it, which, I liked that. That made me happy. And let's see. So I mentioned The Devil Wears Prada 2. We saw that Saturday night. And then I was bragging about the New Jersey residents who are in it, because it's Meryl Streep, and also Anne Hathaway grew up in Milburn and worked at the not worked, but she was an
Performed.
actor. She was an actor at the theater there, the Sawmill, right? Didn't Hayden take a camp there or something? That
Yeah,
theater
yeah. I thought it.
drama.
Yeah, her thing was just it was at that theater, but
Okay.
that sounds right. So
Yeah. Anyway, I mean, they have to get a little jab in on jurors in the film, of course, as one does when you're in big media in Manhattan. But that was fun. And then so Kara Swisher was tweeting about it, or threading, whatever it's called. And I wrote back to it, and then her brother wrote back to my. It's so nerdy and so many layers of
but it was all about
reality.
the Jersey thing, right?
It
Because
was, yeah,
the
'cause
actors that were making the comment are from
yeah,
New Jersey,
they
and
were.
then you pointed that out on her
Yes,
thread, and
yes.
I'll let you take it from
Yes.
there. But
Yeah, and then her brother responded to it and was like, "Yes, and Kara and I grew up in Princeton."
yeah,
So, it was this art, life, in and out, content chaos moment that I found delightful.
very cool.
Yeah, that was
Very
my,
cool.
what went well. Okay, so what could have been better over the past week?
Well, there's a lot in the world that could be better, but we had a scary moment where, my mom is 91. She had a stroke. She's okay, but she's 91. It's not the kind of news you want to get. And, I guess silver lining is, my sister was with her. They caught it. She caught it early, convinced, and she really did have to convince my mom to go to the hospital. But they were there early. And it was a mild stroke because of that, or a small stroke. She's fine. She's home. She's got, blood thinners and cholesterol medicine to take. And she's fine. She had her tests all came back good, but that could have been better. That was a moment, last year we lost my dad. So it was getting that initial text, and that summary, the AI summary that the text gives you, or that the iPhone gives you,
Yeah.
which is, I find it helpful 90% of the time, but this definitely fell into the percentage of not so helpful. Some FaceTiming with our daughter that's in Spain, and we're talking, and then the text comes in, and I kind of see it, and I look, and the summary is, mom had a stroke, and at the hospital, and it was oh my God. And but it's a really long text that goes on to say she's fine, she's okay.
Yeah.
But so that could have been better too. They could fix the summary thing to maybe say,
Yeah.
mom's okay, had a stroke. But
Yeah.
whatever.
Tell the new guy, Tim Cook, as a successor.
That's
Tell
right. That's
Put
right.
that at the top of the list. Fix the AI summary.
There you go. So that's me. What about on your end? what could have been better?
Well, I I wrote some things down.
Is that the what could be better notebook?
I mean, no, I mean, this is actually
Yeah.
my
I
but, okay, there were 3 things. So Bloomberg knows that, people are watching the Gilded Age moment we're in and being disgusted by income inequality, but, but still we need to hear about it. So they've had these juicy articles. Number 1 was college career coaches charging families $50K to help their kids get a freaking job because the parents are anxious that the kid can't get a job.
Yeah.
Now, like, I know this is true. I mean, I know this is true, and it's a combination of so many different things, but it's largely people who they're so afraid of like the perception of their child's not being successful, and let's throw money at the problem instead of being reflective and like helping them yourself. And maybe this is, I don't know, it's just like it's a commentary on our culture and how messed up things are, especially when I hear these very affluent media leaders talk about it. Like, anyway, I don't want to go too much into it. Then there was another one that I saw. People are paying $1,000 to join a book club. It's just like, really? Like, have you looked at the local library? Do you have any friends? Like, why would you have to pay someone to be part of a book club? This is like, it's sad. I'm also, I'm mocking, but also it's like sad that people are so lonely and disconnected from
Yeah.
others in the world, and they don't have friendships, they don't have community, that they're paying that kind of money to talk to other people about a book. Like, and then the last one that I'm going to cite, because I will not do the crazy town summary. The U.S. debt has now surpassed the size of the U.S. economy. Thank you.
Insane.
Yeah, thank you for that. For
Yeah.
wars we don't want. And, we literally have the Gulf nations asking for bailouts from us. Like, it's like, it is a demented moment. So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Those are all really bad. The $50,000 to help your kid get a job, to put that in perspective, part of the problem is people doing that. Part of the
Right.
problem is the people taking the money.
Right.
It's opportunistic and predatory, but to put it in perspective.
Yes.
So if a headhunter placed your kid, they would get 20 to 30%, in this market, probably 20% of their first year's salary as a fee.
Right. Right.
So what's a first year average salary for a kid graduating, like K or something, 50K? Like,
Well, it
like,
depends on what industry. If
of
they're going
course,
into tech or finance, they're getting a lot more, but yeah.
for a new grad, substantially more. So, but
Yeah.
it's a fee paid by the employer, and it's largely like the services that actually help you get a job. They're fractions of that. And it's
Yeah.
just, it is, it's just not right. It's not right.
It's laziness, it's stupidity, it's the Gilded Age, it's, the whole Great Gatsby dynamic, careless people. That's what it is.
Yeah. Yep.
So let's end on a high note. In the words of George Costanza, what did you learn this week?
So I guess it's what I've been learning and what I continue to sort of peel back the onion on. Part of it's all around the AI, but a lot of times I'll talk about what I'm doing with AI. This is more about like what's happening. So we're headed for this. We're a bad place with AI, and I don't mean it's taking all the jobs. That may or may not happen. There are two schools of thought on that. The reality is probably in the middle.
Yep.
But what I mean is you've got, I just came out of this event with a lot of large employers, very large global enterprises that anywhere from 10,000 to tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of employees. And one of the things they all had in common is they've all been given some sort of mandate to cut costs and leverage AI, and that those costs may be return on investment, maybe headcount, however they cut the costs. But at the same time, they're stuck because, again, the assumption is they're going to get there with AI,
Mhm.
and AI is new. AI is evolving. We don't really know all of the impact, but they're all pursuing it at some level. Some are implementing every shiny object. They're automating everything. Some are early on with like the ability to do it because of compliance, because they might be in healthcare, they might be in finance, they might be in a regulated industry, or they may
Yes.
just have a more conservative environment, right? So they're kind of stuck. It's like they're being pushed and they can't move their feet. They're being pushed just to lower these costs. So they're doing everything they can. That's pretty much the mentality right now. Now enter this pricing reckoning that's going to happen. So one of the pieces that I mentioned that I wrote was about this, the compute cost. It's been a subsidy from these AI businesses. So as bad as an experience as you're having at a consumer level with Anthropic, with Claude,
Mhm.
they're actually the first to transparently expose that this is all more expensive than
Exactly.
we're letting on. And
Yep.
so they've adjusted all their pricing at the consumer level, at the enterprise level. But it turns out that now we're heading to this agentic future, and agents are AI applications that run independently and go get a task done. They can also speak to other agents. And the cost of an agent, one agent delivering one task can be 5 to 30 times more compute, more tokens than a normal chat experience like with Claude. Now, the problem is most tasks in corporate America, it's one agent, delivering one task and then reporting on that task to another agent who then integrates it into a platform, who then integrates to another agent. We're talking about like 80 to 100 times the cost of one transaction. So bills are coming in now, even with the pricing just gently uplifted
Yeah.
at, 30, 50, 80% more of the cost than enterprises have predicted. And we're
Mhm.
just scratching the surface. This hasn't trickled down through every platform that everyone's using. So, what you have to realize is it's not just about what you do with Anthropic or Google or OpenAI or ChatGPT.
Mhm.
It's any AI powered system you use because they all run on those models. They all run.
Yes.
So their costs go up and
Yes.
they pass it on to the
Yes.
customer. In this case, it's a consumer. In another case, it's a company, a CFO who budgeted a certain amount and the bills are skyrocketing. So for the first time ever, we're starting to see companies realize that it's actually cheaper to hire humans than it is
Yes.
the AI.
Yes.
So I'm just digging into this and it's
Yeah.
so fascinating because it's not true 100% of the time, but it's
Right.
true most of the time.
This was a conversation I had with Kirby Ferguson. He's the guy from Everything is a Remix.
Oh,
Um, I invited him to speak at my NYU class. He's a brilliant guy. He now works for the Sam Harris podcast. But because we're talking about it and creativity and big tech and all the things, and we both came to the conclusion that companies will realize it's cheaper to just have humans. Like we did, we really did. And it's starting to happen quicker. You just reminded me. So I did a little note on Substack today, which shameless shill I'm going to share I wrote, is ChatGPT the Concorde of AI? Concorde was a revolutionary Anglo-French supersonic passenger airliner that cruised at Mach 2.20, twice the speed of sound, crossing the Atlantic in under 3.5 hours. It was operational from 1976 to 2003. Flew at 60,000 feet, offering a luxurious but costly experience. It was retired due to the high operating costs, a low passenger demand, and safety concerns following a 2000 crash.
yeah.
So last week, OpenAI missed its targets, and it sent out its CFO to, put some lipstick on a pig. And she said that the
I love
company
that
is
phrase.
the company is facing, quote, a vertical wall of demand. Okay. Look, as a person who writes the words for these people, I'm calling bullshit on this. The Wall Street Journal had said that they missed their targets. But, you pointed out, like, Anthropic is being open about it. It's like, this is very costly. And in my thing, I was saying in aviation, vertical walls are the things that you actually fly into, right? That's not good. It's no bueno. And it's just basically frontier AI is starting to look a lot like the Concorde. Fuel economics never close, infrastructure was geographically captive. Good enough won. And good enough is good enough. It's good enough, right?
Yeah.
Unless
Well,
somebody else is paying for it.
yeah. I mean,
Then we'll go deluxe.
yeah, this is ongoing. I'd say nobody, like, the winning is, we'll see. But
Yeah,
I think the whole thing, the subsidy was for their growth, not for our budgets, right? So
exactly.
it was designed to get us all using it easily.
Right.
The bet was that the costs would come down faster
Right.
than the growth would scale up, or the growth would
Right.
be faster, excuse me, than whatever. Like, the cost would come
Yes.
down, it would all come out in the wash. And that's kind of, the math didn't work. The math isn't working.
Yes. The
And
wrath
as
of the math.
yeah, the math isn't mathing, as
Yep.
someone says, one of Scott Galloway's favorites. So we're in this place where, and we're not even talking about the cost of power, the cost of the water that it takes to cool these
Yeah.
data centers. And now we're running into, somebody called it today, a NIMBY moment. And it's something about, I forget what the acronym stands for, but it's like,
Not
not
in my
in my
backyard.
backyard, for the data centers.
Of
Like, they can't
course.
build them anywhere
It's
anymore. And
environmental racism, and the jig is up. People
yeah,
know, and there's transparency that they didn't have in the past. Like, people are like, So
yeah,
it's a very interesting thing.
yeah.
Um,
So anyhow, I'm like deep into that at any given
yeah,
moment. So that's what about yours?
yeah. Well, I have to add on to the math ain't mathing. There's a song by J. Rue, The Damaja. I'm like being Ari Melber right now with my Beastie Boys t-shirt and talking about J. Rue, but
You're cooler than Ari Melber. I'm sorry.
I'm definitely cooler than Ari Melber. But it's the Wrath of the Math is one of his songs. But
Okay.
there's physics, there's space and time. Like, dude, nature is undefeated. So, okay, what I learned this week, I've been doing vibe coding with Claude to finish the website that I think I talked about on the last. Yeah, I think I talked about it last week.
Yeah.
And it just blows me away that one person, without any research assistant, without any designers, without anything, could produce this on my own. And I don't even use Claude Code. I just type it in, because if you have been doing this kind of work your whole life, which is creating multimedia, if you are a writer, if you're a producer, if you are like, this is why I'm always so passionate about getting my friends who are people from the entertainment industry, who are, trying to figure out their next career transition. Like, they can use these tools better than anyone else. And there was an experience when I was at Google. Okay. So when I was at Google, there was a guy who was what we call in entertainment circles a predator. It's a video producer, a video editor. They're a dime a dozen in media and entertainment. They're important. The work is valuable. It's far less, valuable now because all these companies are consolidated and firing everyone. But anyway, this guy was essentially a predator, but he was doing ads for the sales department. I mean, it wasn't like artistic stuff. He's a very smart and creative guy, like, not to take it away, but people be like, oh my God, you see what he did? And I'm like, it's just a video. Like, he edited a video. It's not, but they didn't know, because they haven't done this work their whole lives, that this
Right.
is not like, they think they're invented the wheel. And I'm just like, it's just, you know what I mean? It's like, so my mission now is to try to show more people from other domains how the tools work. Because if you're a creative person, you can operate this stuff. It's like, there's needless, mystification and jargon and nonsense. These things are accessible to creative people, and you don't, It just bothers me. You don't have to pay all this money for courses or go to these conferences. It's a big hustle that people are creating to cash in
Yeah.
on the moment. But
It made me, I can't think of the right phrase. Maybe you know it, but my colleague in London, when he talks about people like that, where like because nobody's seen this before, they're viewed like an oracle. He calls it like the one-eyed man in the land of the
yeah,
blind or
we
something
would
like
say
that.
it at
Yeah.
CBS all the time. In the land of the blind, the one-eyed man is king.
Right.
We would say it
Yeah.
all the
Yeah.
time. It's just it's about also how well-rounded you are, because when you've been in this like linear robot world and you don't know how other things work, your purview is very narrow. But
Yeah.
anyway, I'm getting off my soapbox. I learned Claude Code. I am man, oh man, I'm so good at it now.
Cool.
Yeah.
That's cool. Yeah.
Yeah. ColleenKenny.com/Bhutan hypothesis.
Okay.
I'll be promoting it more, but of course I'm out of tokens right now and I have to make some tweaks. So in 3 minutes, I'll be able to make them.
All right. Well, we will put that in the notes. So,
Yes.
all right.
Cool.
Well, sounds good.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Well,
All right.
we've got episode 37 done.
Thank you. Done and dusted.
All right. Well, until next time. Thanks everybody for listening or watching, and we'll see you then.
Okay. Bye.